I'm on my way to visit another amazing garden created by Jules Moore of Zones Landscaping. Oh, Jules, what an amazing garden.
We call it a resort to zen, which is resort tropical.
Yeah.
To zen style.
Yep.
So a bit of a crossover, and this is a new kind of design style, really.
Actually, one of the really interesting things is the stone, the steps, you know, like how the steps are really beautiful, they're very elegant, and it's a lovely, interesting stone, you know, when you come up the staircase.
Well, you won't believe this, but the stone comes from China. And when we were installing this job, we couldn't find any slabs of bluestone or anything like that, so we ended up buying it from an importer. So each stone is very, very similar in its shape, and it's because it actually comes in columns and it's cut off at 50 mils. But it's really good to work with because it's so consistent.
Well, I can tell that your signature's all over this little garden here. I mean, you know, the way that you've organised all the stone.
I love these rocks.
Yep.
I mean, this rock over here is just gorgeous. And the rocks, almost when you're putting them into a garden, will talk to you, and they'll almost tell you how they want to be displayed. And in this instance here, I chose this rock simply because it could contain a bit of water for the birds.
Beautiful.
Well, it works well as an entrance. It's got a nice feel as you come up, and leads you into the deck with a tropical feel. The brief given to Jules was to create a low-maintenance, inviting living space with some separate areas for adults and teenagers. And it had to be completed in time for the wife's 50th birthday.
It's beautiful. I love this.
Well, take a seat and I'll tell you all about it.
Amazing, beautiful tropical garden now.
It's so lovely, isn't it, just sitting here?
It is, it's absolutely, it's amazing. It's very, very relaxing, but I guess it wasn't always like this.
Well, we started with a very blank canvas just, and in the whole of the section here was just lawn with a bit of broken up paving and a trellis that wasn't that great. So it was really a blank canvas that we started with. But this fence and the retaining wall kind of opposed the angle of the house. So how we went about solving that was we cut out a zigzag in the deck. And then we also did a cutout in the deck with this palm. So it sort of gives you the impression that it's not as great of an angle by doing that, and then repetitive planting throughout really helped as well. Because
what you've ended up with is a deck that's square with the house.
Yes.
And then the cavity that's left between the angle in the fence and the deck is where you've got the garden down there, which is a really clever solution. And then you've put specimen plants in there. It's a complex beast, you know, and there's a lot of construction in it. You know, the path, the decks, and then there's an edible area as well.
Yes, it did take about a month and a bit to actually install. I think with the Kentia behind us, that gives us our own space, and that was part of one of the things on the brief that the clients wanted, was to divide the deck into two spaces, one for their children and one for themselves. So, and by having this lounge suite here, it does just that, eh?
One thing that really stands out to me is the deck, and not because of the size or the shape of it, but really because there's no visible fastening, so I can't see how it's attached. Normally I see, you know, 2 or 3 screws.
Some nails. This is a special deck. In fact, I just happen to have a piece of timber to show you. See how if you hold it up there, it's got a slightly rounded profile to it.
Yeah.
And so they call it a watershed profile, which means that water doesn't actually sit on the top and rot the wood. And it has these grooves at the back, which stops it from cupping as well. And it's held in by these fastenings here, you see, and these pop in, and the other deck slots into it just quite snugly in there. That's screwed into the joist, and the next one goes along and slots in there. So it is a bit of a science.
So
but
that's an interesting system.
It's a new system,
isn't it? But the results are just beautiful. I mean, it looks like a sort of someone's taking the walls down in a big villa or something, and we've just been left with the floor. It's beautiful. And if you're looking for that resort thing, I mean, that kind of luxury, you're looking for just those few elements.
All we need is some cocktails now, and we'll be cold.
That's right.